Hello, Math 1. This is 1.j.1 or I, which is I can multiply polynomial expressions using the distributive property. The distributive property is one of the most important concepts in algebra. So we need to make sure we can master it before we move on. So before we talk about distributive property, the first thing we want to talk about, why does it exist? Now, generally in junior high or even elementary school, you've learned about PEMDAS, right? And PEMDAS basically says parentheses, exponents, multiplication or division, addition or subtraction. So generally, when we look at a problem like this in junior high, it would say stop and do what's in the parentheses. So we would do 3 plus 2 and then 4 times 5, which is 20. But now in algebra, we learned that what happens if you can't combine like terms inside the parentheses? How could we simplify this? Well, if we take this 4 and we distribute it, 4 times 3 would be 12, and then 4 times 2 would be 8, and 12 plus 8 would produce the same answer. Okay, so the reason distributive property exists is so that if the terms inside the parentheses cannot be combined, how do we approach the problem from there? And you'll see it works even if it's subtraction inside. If we use order of operations, 5 times 6 minus 2 is 4. 5 times 4 is 20, right? Same here. 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. So that's going to be minus 10. 30 minus 10 would be 20. So this distributive property exists here. So right away when we look here, 2x and 3 cannot be combined. So how would I get rid of the parentheses? I would distribute. 4 times 2x is 8x. 4 times 3 is positive 12, so we put plus 12. So the distributive property is basically saying if you have term multiplying some quantity, you distribute that term to each term inside the parentheses. So A times B would be AB, A times C would be AC. If I have more than two terms, it would just be A times B is AB, A times C is AC, A times D would be plus AD. And remember, if we multiply and get a positive, we add. If we multiply and get a negative, we subtract. So let's go ahead and use the distributive property to simplify the problems down below. So what am I distributing here? A 3. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 4 is positive 12. Okay, so to show the steps here, I'm basically doing 5 times y, then plus 5 times negative 8, right? That's what I'm distributing here. 5 times y is 5y. 5 times negative 8 would be minus 40. Okay, so here we're going to do negative 4 times z, and then minus 4 times 9. So negative 4 times z is negative 4z. Negative 4 times 9 is negative 36. So we subtract it. Here, negative 9 times x would be negative 9x. Negative 9 times negative 4 would be 36. So it's going to be plus 36. So I'm just giving you a variety of ways to kind of show your work for this to eliminate silly mistakes. So here, 8 times 3x would be 24x. 8 times negative 1 would be negative 8. So we would subtract it. Okay. Negative 10 times negative 3x. That's going to be positive 30x. Negative 10 times 8 would be negative 80. So we have 30x. And then since it's negative 80, we're going to come down here and subtract. Okay, so 12 times negative 2x would be negative 24x. 12 times negative 5 would be negative 60. So if we write this in standard form, negative 24x minus 60. And we are done. As we get down here, if you see something written like this, you have to understand that you're taking this quantity and you're multiplying it by this quantity. Well, remember, multiplication is commutative. Now, you could distribute this way, or you could rewrite the problem as 6 times 3n minus 7. It doesn't matter. So 6 times 3n would give me 18n. 6 times negative 7 would be negative 42. So we're going to go ahead and subtract it. If I distribute this way, it's the same thing. 6 times 3n is 18n. 6 times negative 7 is negative 42. So I actually like to rewrite the problem so that this would read negative 4 times 9 minus 4n. Now, the one thing you have to remember is when you distribute, negative 4 times 9 is negative 36. Negative 4 times negative 4n is plus 16n. But right now, this is not written in standard form, so we want to go ahead and rewrite this as positive 16n minus 36. Okay? Now the next one. Everybody gets scared when they see a fraction, right? So right away we know here we're going to do 2/5 times 5w plus 2/5 times 10. Guys, there's two ways to do this. When I multiply 2/5 and 5, I'm going to put 5 over 1. I'm going to multiply the numerators. I'm going to multiply the denominators and then simplify. So this would actually give me 2w. I could also go to my calculator, and if I have this graphing calculator, I can hit alpha y equals. If you look, the first item is a fraction, and then I'm just going to go 2 over 5, arrow to the side, times 5, hit enter. What does it give me? 2. So right away I know that's 2w. Then I'm going to go alpha y equals, hit enter for the first one, 2 divided by 5 times 10 would give me 4. So that's going to be plus 4, and we are done. Okay? Don't let the fractions scare you. So here, when I distribute this, 1 alpha y equals, I'm going to go 1 over 5 times times 5 first, sorry. That's going to give me 1. So this would be 1b, and then 1 alpha y equals 1 over 5, arrow to the side, times negative 4. What does that give me? Negative 4/5. So I'm going to go over here and go minus 4 over 5. And I could leave my answer like that. You guys might see b minus 4/5 would be the same thing. Now the last two, I'm distributing one term to 3 terms. So 5 times 6x squared is going to give me 30x squared. 5 times negative 3x is going to give me minus 15x. 5 times 8 would give me plus 40. And we are done. There are no like terms that combine here. And 13. Negative 7x times 3x squared is going to give me 21x to the third. Negative 7x times 10x, remember, negative 7x times 10x. Negative 7 times 10 is negative 70. X times x would be x squared. And then negative 7x times negative 4. A negative times a negative is a positive, so I'm going to add. 7 times 4 is 28x. And I am done. Let me know if you have any questions on the student practice.